Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football tips for Saturday, the 8th of February. I'm having an absolute nightmare. I've recorded two videos, deleted one, and then changed the link in the browser, and it hasn't saved the second one either. So I'm gonna have to really hurry up with this one. So if you can do me a favour, I'm not exactly here with a begging bowl, but I'm a bit annoyed by the Racing Post charging for the tips, £20 a month. Um, I'm not sure if I'm carrying on with the channel, if I'm being honest, but it's just contributed. It's just another thing that has like made me question whether to keep the channel going. I'll definitely be doing a Cheltenham video and probably paying for the race post for Cheltenham. But after that, I don't know. But if anybody wants to, I do pretty much rely on the Racing Post ratings, which, to be fair, £20 isn't a lot. It's just rubbed me up the wrong way. So if anybody would like to pay for a month subscription for me, I will leave the Buy Me Coffee link in the description below. If you don't, that's fine. I completely understand. So what I've done, because what I've done is I've chosen my selections. I haven't quite had been able to obviously use a race post ratings. You can kind of find them if you delve into the form, but it takes ages. So I'm thinking, should I just completely reduce my horse racing betting now? But yeah, as I said, the links in the description and the first comment. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. I should, like I said, I shall be paying for it for Cheltenham anyway, so that will cover a month. But anyway, let me get into it. I'm going to keep it as brief as I can because I've done two videos already. So I've had three 5 pence each way lucky 63s. Two of them are the same selections. It's just that in one of those two, I have taken a couple of prices and left the rest, and the other one I've just completely left the rest. I've been doing this since for about an hour and a half now, and I thought, I need to publish a video before 9 o'clock where I get best odds guaranteed. Well, it's nearly 9 o'clock now, and I should have just delayed putting the bets on, but here you are. The first selection in the first 5 pence each way, lucky 63, and this lucky 63 is um, a single lucky 63. The other two lucky 63s are the same selections. So this has got unique selections or combination of existing selections that I've added in the other ones and unique ones. I'm making this so difficult. So 5 pence each way, lucky 63. The first selection is the nap of the day, and it's got risk behind it, but it's an interesting selection. I've backed it in the past at bigger prices, and the horse is called Zambezi Fix. I've left the price. It's 17-2, which I've taken, but I've also seen tens at one point. In the 130 at Warwick, paying four places instead of three. I like this horse. I've backed it in the past. It could do with slower ground, but it might get slightly slower ground. It's currently good to soft. Its best form is on heavy, but um, I think it could be soft by the end of by come this race. The main reason for having a bet in this race is, and even if you don't fancy my selection, I do insist that you take a look at the race because I know a lot of people, like myself included, like to go against horses that are coming off a first time wind operation. Well, I'll give you a clue. The first three in the betting in this race are coming off first time wind operations, believe it or not. So take a look for yourself. But I've gone for Zambezi Fix. It leaves the race wide open. So yeah, that's the first selection. The second selection is Sam Brown. So I've kind of agreed with Flat Cat Callum because I like to listen to his opinion as like background music while I'm picking my selections if I'm doing a late video. So I agree with him. Sam Brown, to be fair, is probably one of the more consistent ones, even for a 13-year-old. Yeah, it's got plenty to find with some of the principles, but there's so many question marks over a lot of the horses. I was even looking at, and I don't know why I mentioned it, Eldorado Allen. I'm like, because it's running poorly against handicappers, but I'm thinking if it gets out in front, gets its own way, the other ones don't ever get to it, it could have a chance. But I've gone for Sam Brown in the end because I don't think Eldorado can beat Sam Brown. So Sam Brown each way, it's about 10-1. I've left the price in this bet, and that's in the 225 at Newbury. Third selection isn't really an each way chance, but I think it's got a good chance of winning. So anybody that likes to back to win, I wouldn't put you off this horse. The horse is called Garcia at 9-4 in the 355 at Newcastle. Three places instead of two. It needs to win ideally. I'm expecting to be held up towards the rear, travelling very well. Then, in my opinion, it's just a matter of whether it can beat the favourite. Fourth selection is Calanthe. So this originally was going to be an all-weather bet, but the all weather was that bad, I had to chuck a couple of my other fancies in, which was Zambiza Fix and Sam Brown. But I've gone for Calanthe in the 440 at Wolverhampton, 4 places instead of 3. A horse that runs well when it races prominently. Wolverhampton suits horses generally racing prominently. I think it's got first time blinkers. There's so many question marks over a lot of the other horses and jockeys. I just think probably Brodie Hampson's is probably one of the ones you can probably rely on a bit more, although she never seems to win for me. So yeah, take that as you will. Fifth selection is extremely interested, and the fact that it's the interesting factor makes it my next best. Next best doesn't mean it's the second one I believe that is guaranteed to get a place. This one is probably more likely to come last, but it's extremely interesting. Go take a look for yourself. It's called Kip Kelly. It's roughly 40s or 50s. I've left the price though in the 5 o'clock at Newcastle, 4 places instead of 3. Not too long ago, as in last summer, I think it was. It was rated in the 70s, and it was running okay in the 70s as well. It's absolutely plummeted now to a rating of 47. You'll think, well, steer clear of that. But the trainer is Derek Shaw. The jockey is Joanna Mason. I believe this horse, if it's ridden to try and get a place, is able on ability to get a place if there's something not more untoward wrong with it. I think it'll be held up towards the rear. How would you explain this to the stewards if it's dropped from 70 to 47 and it wins? Well, all you need to say is it appreciates the return to a straight course. It's been running round a bend. It ran at Southwell, I think, on its first run back, I believe. But over 5 furlongs at Southwell. I think it said it got bumped, so that's one excuse. After then, I believe it's been round a bend twice. All you got to say is it appreciates the return to a straight track, and the stewards have made a note of it. So yeah, Kip Kelly, very interesting selection. Probably going to come nowhere, but can't ignore this one, especially from these connections. The next selection is Egoist at 9 to 1 in the 5:45 at Wolverhampton, 4 places instead of 3. David Manusier and Ross Ryan. I don't think Ross Ryan's being given bad mounts. He probably won't sit on the extremely unfancied horse again because he's a very good jockey going in the right direction, and they know they're going to normally get a very good ride out of him. It's 9 to 1, probably won't be 9 to 1 in my opinion. It ran at Kempton when it was too keen, and I think turning into straight, it blew up. It ran some very good races at Wolverhampton. I think it was last summer. It looks like it's clearly been rested or put out to pasture for a bit and brought back probably for a relatively busy all-weather campaign. The next bet is I've generally gone for big prices in this one. So 5 pence each way, lucky 63. The next bet is exactly the same as this one, but I haven't touched a single price. So the first selection is Zambiza Fix. It's currently 17 to 2, according to this, in the 130 at Warwick, 4 places instead of 3. I've told you about that already. Second selection is Seize the Day. It's currently about 40 to 1 in the 138 at Uttoxeter. So this horse ran well on the National Hunt flat scene. It then went hurdling and opened up 17 to 2. So they must have thought, based on its National Hunt flat, it might be okay. Didn't really do anything, but wasn't dreadful. Next run, I think it unseated rider at the first or second fence. Jockey's fault, in my opinion. I actually saw the race. It was Fern O'Brien. She just went flying off it. Didn't I think it just clipped it and she went catapulting off. I think it deserved another chance. And 40 to 1 in a similar kind of race as last time. In my opinion, the horse has got a bit of a sneak unless they just school it round at the back. Third selection is Antoler in the 150 at Newbury. So this horse, it's trained by John Joe O'Neill, ridden by John Joe O'Neill, well, Junior. Not done anything this year. Before that, it went chase. It went over chase fences. Didn't do anything over that. But before that, had very competitive hurdle form. If something sparks revival, it's a very well handicapped horse. It's actually £12 lower than when it was running very well then. It's shown nothing since. But as I said in a past video, keep an eye on the John Joe O'Neill stable, especially one where it's shown nothing, and then probably something like Cheltenham where it's shown nothing, and all of a sudden it's possibly single figure or a low double figure price in a big handicap, and you're thinking like, why is it that? It's because it's been aimed at the race. I'm not saying Antolo has been aimed at this race, but he had one that popped up not long ago at a decent price, and I was kicking myself then. So, do I fancy it today? Not really. But do I think it could pop up at a big price? Yeah, I do. Fourth selection, Sam Brown. I've told you about this one already. In the 225 at Newbury, it should run its race and have a chance. So, what did we say this was? The Tote Gold Trophy in the past. Now it's called is it the William Hill Cup? I don't know. It doesn't make any slightest bit of difference. Betfair Hurdle? I don't know. Lump sum at 16 to 1 in the 335 at Newbury at six places instead of four. 3 runs ago, won nicely, always doing enough. It beat its stablemate. It's off top weight, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle, but I do think it's better than it's shown its last 2 runs. Basically, in my opinion, it's had 2 racecourse gallop workouts, one behind Sergino, never had a chance, and one behind Constitution Hill, never put in the race. Not never put in the race. Chased the pace, not good enough. Had a day out. Wasn't neither of them were hard runs. I think it's more. This class is more to its liking, and I think don't get me wrong. It's going to be tough on the top weight, but it's the best horse in the race. Last 2 runs, it's had days out. I think I do like Sam Thomas as a trainer, and I do like the Walters Plant Higher colours. They always seem to get plenty of decent horses, and I think it's got a bit of a sniff. 6 places, I think it's got a chance. And the final selection is Renee's Walk in the 423 at Warwick, 4 places instead of 3. This selection didn't run as bad as it looks. I think it was 2 to 1. I think it came second, third, or fourth or something for Dan Skelton. Came fourth in a National Hunt Flat race. The fancied horses in this race aren't world beaters, and I think the Dan Skelton camp will be disappointed with it only coming fourth when it was 2 to 1 second favourite. I think it'll probably they'll know much more about it, and I think it will run a better race. And I think it was currently about I think it was 8 or 10 to 1, and I can't ignore that, especially when they've only got one horse in the race. So as you can see, it's the same selections again, but I've left every single price. So it's £18.90 staked on the horses. The £10 football bet will be in the description and the first comment very shortly. I shall leave the buy me a coffee. I appreciate any support that anybody could give. I wish you the very best of luck, even if you're completely ignoring this video. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.